Hey guys, so posting another video for what I would say is a typical day in my life as it appears to be happening these days. I had a really good trip with a friend of mine last minute last week. He called on Thursday and wanted to see if I wanted to go with him on a trip to visit some friends in Utah and then swing up to Aspen, which we did. Had a great time. My only disappointment was we're going to do a little hiking to some of the smaller uh, canyons in Utah, and unfortunately, I was not able to walk on the sand, which caused me all kinds of problems with my prosthetic leg. So I wasn't able to enjoy that as much as I wanted to. But all in all, it was a good trip. It was hot. Spent a lot of time actually in Utah at the Mars Society research station. That was an invite from my friend Adam, who knew the guys that were out there doing some research. So I had a good time there, and then we swung up through the Valley of the Gods in Utah and saw some amazing topography there. A lot of great geological formations that I had never seen before. Took a lot of good pics. Caught a beautiful sunset over near the Factory Butte, and then we swung up earlier this week up to Aspen to meet another friend of his, and we stayed at a hotel up there for a couple of days. For the 4th of July, we drove up and then came home on the 6th. And then the evening of the 6th, I went to the Queen and Adam Lambert concert, which was awesome. Had a great time. Had to go solo. Couldn't find anybody when I was actually getting tickets who would be interested or having time to go. I decided instead of just sitting home, I was just going to go myself. So I bought some tickets online, got a great rate, really discounted price for some really awesome seats off to the left of the stage, and got a really good view of the entire concert, and it was really good. Adam and the group put on a phenomenal concert, and I really enjoyed that. Disappointment that night was with the Uber, or I should say the Lyft driver. I basically went to the Lyft tent and ordered a Lyft truck, or I should say a Lyft car, to pick me up, and the driver was requesting that I walk to where he was parked. And I explained to him that that was a little difficult because of my handicap. He made his way a little bit closer and then proceeded to ask me again to walk to his position instead of coming me up. And here I am sitting right under the tent for Lyft and asking for a Lyft ride, and the driver is making me walk to him. Ridiculous. Needless to say, I didn't tip him or anything like that. I didn't give him any ratings on his stars, but you know, hey, if you're associated with Lyft in any way, you really need to basically work a little bit better to make sure that your drivers understand that when you have a special designated spot for your drivers to rendezvous with you at, that they should make every effort to get to that spot instead of making people walk to them, especially for a person in my situation. What if I had been in a wheelchair or on crutches or something like that? Quite ridiculous. The reason for this video today is because I just had another encounter with a guy who apparently has something to do with not being or liking to be with guys who have prosthetic legs. I invited him over to my place. He's a really nice guy. He came over, and the minute he saw that I had a prosthetic, he was completely apparently turned off by the fact that I had a prosthetic. And we chatted for a little bit, and then he decided to go. This is almost the same as I experienced on Saturday. Saturday night, I had basically set up a blind date, first date, with a guy who had told me he was very interested in music. I had made arrangements to go to the Steve Grand over at Trax. He even had called and sent an email to the Trax people and told them this was going to be a first date type of deal. They said that they might be able to do a meet and greet. So I set it up that I could give them a call when I got there. I was going to get online about 8 o'clock or so, which was before opening, and then give them a call, and they would basically set up a meet and greet with me and my date to do a, kind of meet Steve, shake his hand before the show or after the show. Not quite sure how the details would have worked at that point in time. But on Saturday afternoon, the guy stopped talking to me. That's after I had sent him an email late Friday, trading emails back and forth. And I told him, I had a prosthetic. It was a mild handicap. It was no big deal. Um, we had already exchanged face pics. We had already exchanged information. We just basically doing a little bit of chit chat work on Friday. But apparently, the minute I had mentioned the prosthetic on Friday evening, no further emails came back to him. So I decided to go down solo on Saturday over to Trax. And unfortunately, when I got there and tried to contact the people at Trax, I explained to them that my date had backed out, that I was handicapped. I never heard back from them either. So meet and greet didn't happen. I was just so distraught. I said, "Screw it! I'm just going to go home." So I didn't even basically go in to see Steve. Didn't get to meet Steve. So all in all, another disappointing evening. It is really terribly frustrating having to deal with people's prejudices towards a person that has, a handicap. And I know there are people out there that have much higher degrees of being handicapped than I do, but still, it's very, very disappointing. Um, I've been trying, for example, to talk to and develop, communications with some YouTubers. I have been basically communicating and joined a group with the husband and husband family, both with Jonathan and Aaron. Both are great guys, and I've communicated with them, and everything is great. But it's apparently other people who are on YouTube, I guess they're feeling a little bit above us mortals. Davey Wavy, for example, I admire his videos. Never hear back from anything that I ever have sent to him. Andrew's Go Places, who is in Denver, Colorado. I sent him various communications just to try to establish as a fellow YouTuber, trading my experiences and my information, and trying to get to know him a little better. Never hear back from him. So, a lot of these guys advocate that you have to reach out and that you actually have to treat other people with the courtesy and respect that they expect. But a lot of them appear to be able to talk the talk but not walk the walk, which is a little disappointing. Maybe it's because I'm not a young and handsome guy like they are. Maybe I don't have a muscular build. Maybe it's because I'm handicapped. I don't have a big user base. There's no advantage to establishing any type of one-on-one or communications with somebody who doesn't have a tremendous amount of followers or subscribers because, they want to basically increase their subscriber base, or is it just simple prejudice or simple ignorance? I don't know. And frankly, at this point, I don't care. But I am very, very appreciative and grateful to both Jonathan and Aaron on the husband and husband who have basically gone out of their way, and I continue to communicate with them and have a great time with their Facebook page, with the H&H family page, because there's a lot of really very nice people on there that I've been communicating with and having a really, really great time. But for everybody else on YouTube, apparently, if you don't fit their ideals of being like them, they apparently will just talk about it but not really want to do anything about it, which to me is a little disappointing, but not entirely unexpected.